Good evening.
Good evening. Hi.
And welcome to Sounds of the Season Springing Anew. I'm Emily Penrose McLaughlin, Executive Director of Health Ed Connect, and we'll be joined during the program by Sherry Kirkpatrick, co-founder and president, and Reagan Jackson, donor and communications manager, who designed and organized all of the information for this evening. We are thrilled that you are joining us this evening to hear beautiful music while uplifting Health Ed Connect volunteer-led community gardens in Malawi and Zambia. Our volunteer health workers routinely report on the hunger and food scarcity they encounter daily. And they have the vision and drive to expand their gardening efforts to outdoor classrooms for women to learn how to grow subsistence gardens, as well as develop larger co-op community gardens. Our mission is to empower women and children through health and education, and the community gardens will help address both objectives by teaching people how to increase food production and increase beneficial nutrients to provide to children and families. We are especially delighted that Jack Ergo is sharing his incredible musicality and effervescence with us this evening here in the lovely Carroll Hall in the Shaw Center for the Performing Arts at Graceland University. As Associate Professor of Music at Graceland, Jack serves multiple roles: conducting the symphony, instructing piano and organ, directing musical theater productions, and beyond. Prior to instructing at Graceland, Jack was the music director at the Community of Christ International Headquarters, during which time he also served as the music and artistic director of the Independent Symphony, now the Heritage Philharmonic, and the renowned Kansas City Civic Orchestra. Handel's Messiah is one of Jack's signature works to conduct, taking the choir on international tours and presenting to a sold-out audience at Carnegie Hall. Jack earned a bachelor's and master's degree at the prestigious Peabody Conservatory of Music at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. It is my honor to introduce Jack Ergo as our featured musician as he shares his devotion to sustainability and several of the world's musical languages, along with fellow musicians Tessla and Salume Osakue. For those of you joining online, a program bulletin is available on our website and in a link provided on the chat. So without further ado, please allow me to present Jack Ergo.
Tinder's wife. She says, "This is your garden. So what are you going to do with it? Where are you going to plant the stories? What is the composer planted in your soul through the music?" And so for the first 20 years, I played it like that because that's how it's written, with this G. Then the next 20 years, I noticed there's a little whole step next to it. So I'm going to play it with 3 melodies rather than the one melody just. What you heard was this. For the next 16 years, would you please go to YouTube and type in Chopin 24 Preludes. They're all short, they're all unbelievably different, and they're all pretty much like my garden. They have very little structure. So that's the first one, and I don't remember what the next one is, but I call it the Garden Prelude. And it's just this little story of going on a picnic in somebody's garden. But it's one of the few pieces that allows the pianist to use the middle pedal. The right pedal's for what? Sustaining the notes. We call it sostenuto. The left pedal does what? We call it the soft pedal, but it's actually the one string pedal. It actually changes the color of the piano. And can you see this, how this whole thing is moving? It moves the entire mechanism up, so instead of hitting 3 strings, I'm hitting 2. But the middle pedal is kind of magical. If I hit a note and press the middle one down, it holds that note down and nothing else. And so the end of this piece uses that pedal. I wonder, I don't remember my research whether Chopin was one of the first to have the middle pedal as a single sustained pedal. But you're going to hear this beautiful bell in the cathedral at the end, and I'll really smack it so we can enjoy it. Picnic. 21st. Oh my. So what can I do with this baby that's bizarre? The aeolian harp. So if I press down silently, I pressed a chord, I pressed that chord, but I pressed it silently. So here's the piece. But I'm pressing everything silently. I'm supposed to introduce you. So you walked in here as a freshman in 2016, 17?
2013, that was close.
That's when this building was built, 2013. We dedicated it. And she was kind of a practice goddess. You were in the practice room all day long and well into the evening, ever here after 11 p.m.?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Facility services knew my name. They let me until 3 a.m., so
yeah.
this was my place.
And you've come back to us as a master's in performance and as our new adjunct instructor and also our new international recruiter. So, and you're going to play one of the great, this instrument is phenomenal. So I come from a lot of universities. I don't know that we have this instrument at those universities. I mean, maybe they do now. What are you playing for us?
I'm going to be playing Bach's Cello Suite No. 2, the Gigue.
Where's your cello?
Right here.
Oh.
So a little backstory about this piece and why it's important to me. So originally when I came to Graceland University, I had zero percussion background whatsoever. I didn't know how to read music. I didn't know what this instrument was, what these were. I couldn't hold sticks. And the first ever marimba piece I ever learned was a Bach Cello Suite movement. It was different than this one, but it was really frustrating. Anybody who started a new instrument knows how much, hitting your head against the wall happens, learning a brand new instrument. And I swore to myself I'd never touch Bach again after I got done with this solo. And then I get to my junior year and I hear this solo, and I didn't know it was Bach yet, but I hear this solo on a YouTube video and I said, gosh, I want to learn that. I worked here over the summer, so I learned it. Didn't pay attention to who the composer was, and my instructor at the time, Adam Groh, walks in and he goes, Tess, what are you working on? I was like, I don't know, some jig thing. He goes, jig? And And I was like, yeah, a jig. And he goes, jig? I was like, sure, whatever. He's like, you know that's Bach? And I was like, no. And so I realized that, through my development as a music student here, I eventually did find a love for Bach. So I've kept it in my repertoire ever since. So I hope you guys enjoy this.
So Salume says, well, we're in Carroll Hall, so should I back down? This is a belt musical whiz, right? He said, should I back down a little bit? I said, oh no. But was Nepal your first United States trip?
Yeah.
You came, yeah, so you came here at the ripe old age of 16. How did you get let you in at 16? Did you lie about your age or something?
No.
Oh, okay. You just,
I'm 20.
I told her to really let you have it, but you came here and you made this place your home, and now you have to sing about no place like it. You think you're going to get through it without blubbering?
Yes.
You want to go fast or slow?
Not fast.
When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home, I wish I was back there with love.
Well, wasn't that just wonderful? And the best part is, we get to hear them all again in just a few minutes. Yes, I agree. Well, I want to share with you something in the meantime that has been driving my life and I'm absolutely passionate about. If you look at the picture above here, you'll see some women who are absolutely heroes. They're mothers in the little village of Mazembe, Malawi. We have a Matete also, Mazembe, Malawi. And they come every month to have their babies weighed. They walk long distances, every one of them with a baby on their back, many of them with a toddler at their skirt. Cold weather, hot weather, sun, rain, whatever, they come. When they arrive, they sit on the ground. So when we were here, and Jack took this picture a couple of years ago, they said, you know what we'd really like is a building, a little community center, so that when we arrive to have our babies monitored, we'd have some place to get in, out of the weather, and a place to sit. Well, something interesting happened. The tribal chiefs, and they still control land in Africa, they have land in the way. The tribal chiefs have been very aware of our Sinkani health workers who are volunteers. We have 47 of them in Malawi that work for Health Ed Connect as volunteers, and many of them for 25 years now. And the African chiefs knew the good that they were doing in the community, so they said, you know what? We'll give you land to build a community center on if Health Ed Connect will come and build that center for you. And so they did. They gave them land. Well, I'm thinking, a plot big enough for a little building? Oh no, it was 3 acres or more. Some of them, we've got now 4 or 5 chiefs that have given different plots of land, up to 9 acres. So we have not only a place for a community center, but we have a community center. So we built this modest little building, but if you look inside, doesn't that look nice? We're still social distancing here, so they're kind of spread out, but eventually they'll be, pretty crammed in. Well, these women live a really hard life. They carry all the water that their family's going to consume. They wash all their clothes by hand, and they've never heard of disposable diapers. I mean, really? Disposable diapers. They are busy from morning to night, and yet they find time every month to bring those babies long distances to be monitored. Now, why would they do that? It's a duh kind of question, isn't it? They would do that for their babies the same reason that we would for ours. They want them to be healthy. They want them to be strong. They want to feel like they've done everything and learned everything as a mother that they can to help their children be healthy. And so they've come, but in spite of their heroics and Herculean efforts to keep their children healthy, the Malawi statistic, now listen up to this, folks. You can get it on the internet, so feel free to look it up yourself. It is the exact number. 44% of the children in Malawi are stunted. Stunted. That means their little brains will never fully develop and their bodies will never fully reach the status that their DNA suggested that they should. That's pretty sobering, 44%. Now let me give you a statistic that's even more impressive and more staggering than that, and that is the babies that are monitored by our health workers, when their mothers bring them like this to be, weighed, when they come and are monitored by our health workers, the health workers have got that number down to 6% of the babies are underweight. Only 6% are underweight. Isn't that amazing? Because they're teaching them what to do, what to feed them, when, and also helping them, learn sanitation and many other things that they're being instrumental in. But as impressive as that 6% is, and by the way, did I mention they monitored over 38,000 babies last year? Our health workers in Malawi, pretty good job, huh? In spite of their efforts, and to get it down to 6%, we'd like to say our favorite number is 0. 0. Wouldn't you like to see every child be healthy and weigh what they should weigh and not be underweight? And we think we can start bringing that 6% down even further. Matter of fact, we know we can. And so we've got a vision for what we'd like to do. and that is to plant gardens. We've started them in other places, and this picture is actually from Zambia. Don't those look great and healthy? And the health workers in Zambia are planting these gardens in tires for the school children. So it goes with their lunches a couple of times a week, that goes with the porridge that they have. So we want to do the same thing in Malawi. Tire gardens, but also regular fields, kinds of things to grow so that the mothers can come and learn. Well, we have a vision, and our vision would say that eventually we will have garden sheds that go along with our community centers where the mothers come and get their classes. And these garden sheds will hold the tools and the seed that they're going to plant and, you know, all of the equipment and things that you need to grow healthy gardens. And that they will come and learn, and they gave it the term, have an outdoor classroom. Isn't that a cool way to put it? So an outdoor classroom they would like to plant so that the mothers can learn how to garden. And I'm not being discriminatory by saying the mothers are going to learn this. Women are pretty much the gardeners in Africa, right? Yeah. And so the mothers are the ones that are going to be eager to learn this. And so that's our vision, to have a place where they can have the seeds, they can have the tools, and they can learn in these outdoor classrooms. Their vision is all those things that we have in mind, you know, to harvest the seeds so they can plant them the next time. But they add to that they're going to be so successful that they need a garden shed that's really big so they can store the excess crops that they have and be able to use them throughout the year. You know what? They'll do it. Their vision is the one that will work. They will do it. And so we expanded our vision, our thoughts, our hopes, and our dreams to include a much bigger garden shed instead of just one that would hold a few hoes and a wheelbarrow or so, to include one that would be big enough for storage for the vision that they have. And so we'd like to invite you tonight to help us share in that and make our vision a reality. And that would be to help us raise the funds to build these garden sheds that they're going to store things in, as well as the excess crops. Each one costs about $6,000. If you do 2 of them, then that costs about $12,000. So we've got as our goal tonight to raise $12,000 at our event that Jack Ergo has helped us organize and that we're all so much enjoying. But I've got really good news. We've got some sponsors who found out about it, some of our donors, and said, hey, we'll do half of it. We'll be the challenge people. And so we've got $6,000 already raised, and actually a few people have even put in a little bit more, so we're even above halfway on that. So we're well on our way, but we would like to raise the additional amount to have at least 2 garden sheds, garden buildings ready to go very soon. As soon as we get the resources to them, they will get the foundations going, they will start, it will just happen like immediately. So we'd like to invite you to be on that Malawi team, that Malawi garden team that's going to make this happen. It's going to help us bring that 6% down closer to 0 of the babies that are malnourished, the babies that are underweight, and to make that happen. I think we've got some ideas here on ways you can do that. You can text, you can go to our website, you can write a check, you can put in cash, and I think for the folks that are online, it's in the chat. Is that right? Yes, Reagan says it's in the chat, so all of that information is there for you. We'll also have a basket that you can put cash or checks in if you'd like to, or you can go home if you want to and look up our web page and make a donation right to our web page, which is the 4th line down here, healthedconnect.org, and you can see the slashes there. So we think you're going to be very impressed with yourselves. Pat yourselves on the back when you get the really good news of what's happening in Malawi, because these people will make it happen. And we'd like to welcome you all to Team Malawi to be the ones that help them make it happen. Thank you.
If our internet works, we have a video.
evening in Lamoni. So the slow parts represent me in my garden. I have no idea what the fast parts might represent. What key?
Whenever you want to. G.
What's your hymnal? You have the chalice hymnal?
No. Celebration.
Celebration, it's in D in celebration. How great thou art. Wait, is that what you said?
Yes.
Oh, how great thou art.
But if you want to.
I was thinking of great is thy faithfulness.
Either one's great.
Can I do great is thy faithfulness?
Yes.
Oh, great thou art is too hard.
You should ask them.
Oh yeah, I'll just do them both. Well, they have to go up by 10, you said?
Make a medley, please.
because hunger is an issue that goes past just an empty belly. It affects the brain, the body, and the spirit. And our colleagues are ready to spring anew and grow nutritious food that is going to directly address stunting and malnutrition and help their communities thrive. So tonight you have the opportunity to generously support Health Ed Connect's gardens in Zambia and Malawi. And it will bring us much closer to our goal and make an amazing difference in the lives of women and children. And while this has been our first Sounds of the Season concert, it will not be our last. We plan to invite new musicians for an evening of music and empowerment, and we hope to see you at these future events. We're so excited to be able to do this. So for tonight though, I'd like to do a few special thank yous. So first I'd like to thank President Drace and Graceland University for access to this beautiful venue. Beautiful. I'd like to thank our online host tonight, Nick Keeler, who's been running the chat for all of our online folks. I would like to thank our superstar colleagues, my superstar colleagues, Emily and Sherry and Jack and Michael, our board member. We have a lot of people here that we're just so happy to have together. Our tech extraordinaire, Stephen Kaywood, is up in the box, and he has made tonight possible through a lot of expertise that I do not understand. And of course, our talent for the evening, Tessla Michael, Salume Osakue, and of course, the wonderful Jack Ergo. We are so grateful, and I hope each of you have had a lovely evening, have a lovely rest of your night, and we are so grateful for your time, your generosity, and for joining us today. Thank you.
What?
For everyone born.
Oh, now it's request time?
Amazing grace.
What I'm